Parties, of course, meeting for the first time in court today. It was about a 90-minute hearing.
This isn't going to end well for you, Blake. Sorry.
In a world where sometimes people judge you before they give you a chance.
Prepare to be shaken as we peel back the curtain on the controversies, hidden legal battles, and behind-the-scenes drama that propelled beloved actress Blake Lively from Hollywood's Golden Girl to an overnight scandal magnet. Blake Lively was once the embodiment of the Hollywood dream. She skyrocketed to fame with her role as Serena van der Woodsen on Gossip Girl, captivating audiences worldwide. Her natural charm and seemingly effortless talent quickly extended beyond television, landing her plum roles in major films. For a time, she appeared to have it all: critical acclaim, a fairy tale marriage to actor Ryan Reynolds, and a social media presence that struck the perfect balance between relatable and aspirational.
Equal to It Ends With Us.
I would love to do it.
I mean, if Colleen has her rights, I'll go anywhere. I'll follow this woman anywhere. Y'all heard her.
This idyllic image, however, began to unravel. As controversies surfaced, each chipping away at the persona of Hollywood's darling. Once celebrated for her warmth and affability, Blake became entangled in scandals that cast doubt on whether that glowing public image was genuine. As the legal battles, rumor-fueled headlines, and resurfaced interviews mounted, many fans and industry insiders started to see a different side to the actress, one far removed from the endearing star they thought they knew. The turning point in Blake Lively's otherwise charmed career began with a lawsuit involving actor and producer Justin Baldoni. What started as a professional dispute morphed into a tabloid-fueled scandal, shaking the public's faith in Blake and tarnishing her image as the amiable girl next door.
I think I'm just brunette because of the books.
And everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway.
At the center of this legal battle were accusations of a toxic work environment and emotional distress, allegations that Blake brought against Baldoni. On the surface, it seemed like a standard Hollywood dispute, a star claiming mistreatment by a colleague and seeking redress. Yet, the situation proved far more complicated. As the story captured headlines, Baldoni's legal team responded with damning evidence: text messages, emails, and behind-the-scenes accounts that contradicted Blake's narrative. These so-called receipts presented her as less a victim, and more a dominating force on set, someone who was, in fact, in control.
Justin Baldoni sues the New York Times for $250 million over the outlet's Blake Lively harassment story. Days after his It Ends With Us co-star Blake Lively filed a complaint accusing him of sexual harassment and participating in a smear campaign.
Public opinion began to pivot. It was no longer clear who was telling the truth, and the widespread sympathy Blake initially received showed signs of waning. Observers wondered if Blake, knowingly or not, had weaponized the Me Too era's heightened sensitivity to workplace harassment, or if Baldoni's camp was simply more savvy at spinning the story. For fans, the details of the lawsuit were murky. Yet the effects on Blake's reputation were swift and unmistakable. Hollywood power players, who had long championed her work, now distanced themselves, uncertain about what the scandal might reveal.
He made it very clear that some of the things that Blake was afraid of coming out in court were not things that Wayfarer was actively pursuing.
As the narrative hardened into a he said, she said battle, the once beloved star found herself standing on increasingly shaky ground. Her motives doubted, her former supporters silent. In the midst of the legal standoff between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, Baldoni's lawyer presented what he called receipts to refute Blake's version of events. These included text messages and emails that appeared to show that Blake was not just a passive participant in any on-set issues, but in fact wielded considerable influence. Overnight, this new evidence unraveled the image of Blake as a victim, leaving fans and the media to wonder whether the narrative she presented had been skewed or even fabricated.
Old footage revealing that yes, her secret plan is to always take control of the movies and lie to the director.
The public spectacle grew as outlets dissected every document, highlighting inconsistencies and fueling skepticism about Blake's initial claims. Beyond the paperwork and legal filings, a different kind of scrutiny emerged: body language analysis. Viewers revisited interviews where Blake and Baldoni appeared alongside each other, pointing to subtle signs of discomfort, tense posture, forced smiles, and clipped responses. Experts chimed in, suggesting that Blake's defensive demeanor and Baldoni's measured replies hinted at an undercurrent of conflict. While body language is far from conclusive proof, it offered a glimpse into how personal grievances may have seeped into professional settings.
Swift trying to bully Justin Baldoni to make changes to the script for this movie. So first of all, let me point out to Blake Lively, you are an actress. Unless you signed on as a producer or a director, there's literally no reason why your creative input should matter. You're an actor.
For a star so often praised for her easy charm, these strained interactions raised new doubts about her off-screen persona and planted further seeds of uncertainty about the sincerity of her public image. While the Baldoni controversy was dominating headlines, an older interview from 2016 with journalist Kirsty Flaw suddenly resurfaced, inflaming public opinion further. Initially dismissed as a routine press appearance, it took on new significance in light of the actor's more recent controversies. In the clip, Blake's dismissive tone and apparent inability to empathize with Flaw's questions painted a very different picture of the actress. One that clashed with her public image as approachable and down-to-earth.
Time progressed in this film. She decided that she wanted to be a producer. She started to make edits. She wanted to be part of the editing team. There were people hired, like human beings actually hired to do the editing job.
Fans and media alike seized on this instance as a potential red flag that her friendly persona might be more curated than genuine. Blake's seemingly condescending responses clashed starkly with the warm, congenial attitude she was known for, triggering a wave of disillusionment among viewers. Even more telling than the court cases and old interviews was the reaction from Blake's Hollywood circle. Once an industry darling admired by peers, Blake found support growing thin in the wake of her controversies. Stars like Jennifer Lawrence expressed disappointment and confusion, lamenting that they no longer recognized the person they'd once praised. Emma Stone offered a more cryptic remark, noting how Hollywood can be a tough place, and truth isn't always what it seems.
Because it's our project, and this was not good for Blake.
Balake.
She wrote this. This is her text message back to Justin Baldoni. She wrote, "If you ever get around to watching Game of Thrones, you'll appreciate that I'm Khaleesi. And like her, I happen to have a few dragons."
In a business built on reputations and alliances, these pointed remarks felt like a collective distancing, one that carried real weight in shaping public opinion. Friendships formed under the bright lights of press tours and red carpets seemed to cool in real time, amplifying the narrative that Blake's reputation was quickly unraveling. Unsurprisingly, the online realm became a crucible for the backlash. Fans who once flooded Blake's social media posts with adoration were now voicing concern, confusion, and outright anger. Memes and viral threads questioned her sincerity, while some staunch supporters tried to rally defenses in comment sections. This fractured online community underscored the fragility of celebrity culture. Once the public's sentiment shifted from adoration to doubt, Blake's meticulously crafted image came under fire. The drop in likes, follows, and positive engagement signaled a pivotal loss in what had once been a cornerstone of her appeal: her direct connection to fans. The actress's social media presence, once full of warmth and playfulness, seemed to reflect the turmoil as her updates and engagement felt noticeably more subdued. As if the Baldoni lawsuit and resurfaced interviews weren't enough, rumors began circulating that Blake had been involved in covering up an alleged affair involving Hugh Jackman and his then-wife, Deborah Lee Furness. Though no concrete evidence emerged, the mere possibility of her complicity in shielding a high-profile star from scandal fanned the flames of gossip. Columns speculated whether Blake, keen to maintain the goodwill of influential Hollywood players, might have agreed to keep quiet or even actively bury unflattering truths. Though entirely unsubstantiated, the whispers themselves were enough to cast further shadows on her character. In an environment already swirling with accusations and half-truths, these rumors added yet another layer of intrigue and suspicion, further shaking the foundations of Blake's once sterling reputation. Complicating matters even more, Blake's comments regarding Harvey Weinstein came under fresh scrutiny. While she publicly criticized abuse of power in Hollywood, critics noted that her statements fell short of the full-throated support many expected during the height of the Me Too movement.
Blake Lively is slamming The Hollywood Reporter's recent magazine cover. The cover features the actress launching a slingshot at Justin Baldoni amid their ongoing legal battle.
Some believed Blake's words lacked the conviction and urgency the situation demanded, fueling suspicions that she was choosing caution over solidarity with victims. For an actress who had once projected a sense of moral clarity and warmth, the perceived half-measure in denouncing Weinstein felt like a letdown to those who had hoped she'd use her platform more decisively. The controversy underscored how delicate and dangerous missteps can be when public opinion is already hanging in the balance. In the wake of these controversies, Blake Lively's public image stands at a crossroads. Despite unwavering support from her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and a residual fan base still loyal to her work, the collective mood has undeniably shifted. Social media engagement has dwindled, brand partnerships show signs of strain, and the Hollywood elite appear more hesitant to champion her. The once glowing narrative of an affable star living a fairy tale life has been eclipsed by lawsuits, skepticism, and endless speculation. Whether Blake can mount a comeback in an industry known for fickle loyalties, and whether the public is willing to grant her the benefit of the doubt, remains to be seen. For now, she serves as a striking example of how quickly a beloved celebrity can fall under the harsh glare of public scrutiny, and how challenging it can be to restore a tarnished reputation in modern Hollywood. In the end, Blake Lively's precipitous fall from grace is a stark reminder that in Hollywood, the line between adored starlet and controversial figure can vanish overnight.